My name is Joseph. I am 49 years old, rich and love my family. I have a son named Chinemam, a daughter named Shino, and my beautiful love Ogechi. I and my family love Jesus very much. We went to church every Sunday and thanked God for all his blessings. One day I heard a voice. The voice said, "Build a big church for me." I looked around, but no one was there. I was confused. That night I had a dream. In the dream, I saw building a big, beautiful church. When I woke up, I understood the voice was from God. I was excited. It was Saturday, so I called my builder and said, "I want a big and modern church on this land." The builder agreed, and they worked hard. After 6 months, the church was ready. It was big, beautiful, and shiny. On Sunday, I went to church as usual. During the service, the pastor asked if anyone had a testimony to share. I and other people stood up. After 2 people's testimony, it was my turn. "Pastor," I said, "God has given us a new church. After the service, we will all go there, dedicate, and worship." And the pastor and everyone in the church were surprised and quiet. Then they cheered and clapped. After the service, they all went to see the new church. They sang, danced, and thanked God. My heart was full of joy. After that day, God blessed my business even more. My family was happy and everything was going well. But one day, I got a terrible call from my wife. She was crying. "Honey, come back home. Chinemem is not breathing," she said. I rushed home. My son was lying still. We quickly took him to the hospital. The doctor checked him and said, "I'm sorry. Your son is dead. There's nothing we can do." I felt like my heart was breaking. Then I had the voice of God. The voice said, "Take Chinemem to the church you built for me." With my eyes filled with tears, I told my wife, "We are not going to the mortuary. We are taking Chinemem to the church." We carried our son to the altar of God in the big church. I and my wife knelt and began to pray. We sang songs to praise God. We cried and begged God for a mercy and miracle. 1 hour passed. Then, 30 more minutes later, suddenly, Chinemem opened his eyes. He sat up and said, "Daddy, Mommy." I and my wife shouted, "Jesus, Jesus, Jesus." Everyone in the church came running. They hugged Chinemem and praised God for his goodness, and we said, "What God cannot do does not exist." From that day on, my faith became even stronger. I always told people, trust and obey God. Jesus never fails. And so, my story continues, full of love, faith, and miracles. My life changed forever after God brought Chinemem back to life. The miracle spread quickly. People from near and far came to the Church of God, calling it the House of Miracles every Sunday. The church was full of people singing, praying, and thanking God for his goodness. I became even more devoted to God. I spent more time helping people in need, giving to the poor, and supporting the church. My business kept growing, and I used my wealth to bless others in my little way. Whenever people asked me about my success, I always said, "It's not me, it's God's grace." Chinemem, now healthy and strong, loved telling his friends what happened. He would say, "God saved me. He is real and powerful." His sister Shino would smile and add, "We are so blessed to have such a loving God." But one day I faced another test of my faith. A group of people came to me, trying to buy the land where the church stood. They offered me a lot of money, more money than I had ever seen. The leader of the group said, "Joseph, think about it. With this money, you can build another business and become even richer." I smiled and replied, "No amount of money can replace God's house. This land belongs to him." The group became angry. They tried to scare me, but I stood firm. I trust in God, I said. I will protect his church. That night I prayed, "Lord, you built this church. Help me to protect it and keep it safe." The next morning I heard that the group had left the town. No one bothered the church again. I felt peace in my heart and thanked God. Years went by, and my family continued to serve God faithfully. Chinemem and Shino grew up loving God and helping others too. They often told the story of how I, their father, trusted God and how God never failed us. One day, Chinemem said to his father, "Daddy, I want to be a pastor when I grow up. I want to tell people about God's love." I smiled with tears in my eyes. "Son, nothing would make me prouder. Always remember, with God, all things are possible." My life became a living example of faith, obedience, and God's miracles. Many people came to know Jesus because of my story. And so my tale and my family and the big church continued bringing light and hope to the world. Always know that God is always in any situation, anytime, any moment.